Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Okay, someday the sniffling is going to stop. The eyes are going to stop watering. I have faith that it will happen. We are about to dive into a very sensitive topic. I have to be careful of the words I use, not because I'm worried about what anyone thinks. I'm always going to be fair and giving you my opinion on topics, whether they're controversial or not. But in a lot of social media, there are certain things you can't say. Quick example before we move on. I don't want to bore you, but I see a lot of people at times would say, why do people say unalived? Well, that's because certain social medias, including YouTube, don't like certain words. Or, why do people talk about grapes? Because again, a certain word that can't be used, so on and so forth. So that's why you get code from time to time. But anyway, I want to talk about something. This is actually related to the WNBA, not something I thought I would be talking about on here, but it is very, very important for a couple of reasons. I mean, maybe I should have put this on the uncensored channel and try to get that going. I've been neglecting it, or even soccer, because this is for those of you who don't know. And it says right here, USWNT legend Abby Wambach, and that is 100% uh, accurate. She retired actually as the all-time leading goal scorer in women's soccer. Uh, and she was surpassed. Man, I just blanked on her name. Oh, I apologize. Canadian player that just passed her recently. But what you're seeing here, and this does tie into the WNBA, and I'm going to tie it to Caitlin, and it is very important. USWNT legend Abby Wambach is the first major athlete to leave Wasserman following flirtatious emails released between its CEO and convicted blah 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 Ghislaine Maxwell. Casey should resign, Womack said. He should leave so more people like me don't have to. Now, you know what? Abby's probably not exactly a money generator for them at this time. She's been long retired. I know she had a book out a number of years ago. I don't know what she's really doing now that would bring them in money. So, I don't know how brave it is, but that is here. And as you can see, LA 28, because Casey Wasserman is, I think, the head of the LA 28 Olympics committee for the Summer Olympics, and they are standing by Casey Wasserman after reviewing certain ties, okay, to Adobe Acrobat files, if you understand the three-letter acronym there. Uh, that have been released. I want to get into this because, again, I am tying it to the WNBA, I promise. So, apparently, Casey Wasserman, who is going to remain in charge of the 2028 Summer Olympics, has had his name appear in all of those files that everyone knows was released recently. Now, I will say one thing about this. First of all, let's make it very clear as a girl coach, girls as young as 6, 7, all the way up till sending them off to college. I am very Old Testament in how people who would abuse them should be dealt with. Okay. And it's not just putting them in a little cell. I'm going to leave it there. That being said, unfortunately, everything today, as we know, is political. So you're getting a lot of misinformation out there about so and so's name appears, 3,000 times and blah, blah. But there's no context with that. Okay. And again, not an excuse for Wasserman. We're going to get into why his name is in there. And again, if it turns out to be something else, it would be nice to see at least one arrest from all this. But anyway, and this is why I think this is why we're going to tie it to the WNBA too. It's important when you see some of Wasserman's clients. So apparently, back in the day, in 2002 or so, and this was even years before. Remember, that's the thing that's important too. There are people who associated with Jeffrey after his conviction. Okay, this was before that time. So then you knew, right? Like even if you weren't involved in anything, you knew what kind of person he was. So that association is kind of questionable. But where we have it here, let me see if I can get down to it. I want to get down to the I hate this thing. Where is it? I read his correspondence. I know what I know, and I am following. I got my values. This is Abby Wambach. Casey should resign. He should leave. No more. So more people like me don't have to. I'm unclear on my next steps. That's okay with me. I just know where I can't be. Now, from everything that I have seen, and they don't really put it in here. They mention what it is. Uh, I think he got a ride on the jet, the jet one time, but while part of the doing stuff with the Clinton Foundation in 2002, and he exchanged some flirtatious emails with Miss Maxwell back in the day. So there doesn't really seem to be anything in there that ties him to all of that stuff. Now, that being said, let's go back and check out this because I think this is important. And this agency represents a lot of people, represents women's soccer stars like Alex Morgan, obviously Abby Wambach. And here we go, folks. WNBA stars like Paige Bueckers, Brianna Stewart, and Britney Griner. So why does this matter? Because this is where I get kind of pissed off. Let's go back to the beginning of Caitlin Clark's time in the WNBA. What did we constantly hear? What was she constantly being bashed over the head with? Any little fool or troll on the internet, Caitlin Clark was being asked to, oh, you've Caitlin Clark's got to speak out on this. If she doesn't speak out on every single little incident that everyone else in the world says, and say how she's doesn't isn't a part of that, then she supports it, right? We saw it all the time. We had idiot fool troll reporters who would ask her questions about it, and then her answers weren't even good enough, and so on and so forth, all of the time. Well, I think we all know that if Wasserman represented Caitlin Clark, I promise you it would be wall to wall 24/7 from WNBA media that Caitlin Clark needed to disassociate herself, just like Abby Wambach did, and speak out definitively, loudly, without hesitation, and throw Casey Wasserman under the bus and make it very clear he's the most vile, terrible human being on the planet. And Caitlin Clark doesn't agree with him on anything, doesn't think he should have his job, blah, 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 blah. Well, Paige, Brianna, Brittany, where are you? Why are you not speaking out about this? That is what I would like to know. Why are you not leaving and looking for new representation? And again, man, Wasserman is massive, right? I mean, look at this. We had college athletes. We have Mike Tirico, Bob Costas, Jim Nance, Scott Van Pelt, people like that as well. A lot of musical artists. And this is some I've left following the release of these emails. So Abby Wambach's not the only one. A lot of people are leaving. But again, where are Paige? Where's Brianna? Where's Brittany? Because we all know Caitlin Clark would have been asked by this the second that it came out if this was her representation. You all know that I'm talking the truth. And so again, I do not know. I can't make a judgment on Wasserman just from what I know and is out publicly. It looks like flirtatious emails with what turned out to be the wrong woman. And I've seen a lot worse in there. But again, there are multiple people leaving, WNBA athletes that are represented. We all know what would happen with Caitlin Clark. And here's the thing: so many activists are very, very selective in their outrage. They only speak out on things where they feel that they have cover, right? In other words, it's not true activism because they only speak out on things from which they know there will be no consequence to their speaking out. If it could actually cost them, they wouldn't do it. 100%. These are all fraudulent activists. Paige, Brianna, Brittany, fraudulent activists. You look at anything they speak out about, you look at the things they are silent about. It is very, very selective. They will never speak out when there's a possibility of real consequences for them. Never going to happen. And that is what pisses me off. The hypocrisy. And it's a shame hypocrisy doesn't have the um I don't know what the word is I'm looking for at this point, but the the heaviness, the pull that certain other words do, because I think it is actually one of the worst qualities you can have as a human being, and we all a little bit, right? Like tiny little things. I get it. It's no one is free from hypocrisy, but this kind of stuff really pisses me off. To be very selective and act like you're this wonderful person because you're speaking truth to power, when the only time you speak truth to power is when there are no consequences for it. That's not, of course, speaking truth to power. But anyway, let me know your thoughts on all this in the comments below. Do you think they should be speaking out? Do you think they should leave the way Abby Wambach has left? Or at the very least, do you think the media should ask them about it because you know they would ask Caitlin Clark? Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you checking this out. As always, smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Go have the day you deserve. I will talk to you later.